I'm gonna watch ASMR porn later.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch some porn later. I'm gonna watch three midgets having a threesome.
It's 1.5 some.
Hey, there it is. See, we worked it in. Boom. And we're live.
All right, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the At Random podcast. I've started uploading on Instagram today.
Oh God.
Yeah, they uploaded a tickety talk from somebody that was doing a good deed. I know. I see your eyes rolling in your head. Shut the fuck up. I'm still on TikTok. Vine was great.
Of course you
TikTok
are.
is great. Shut the fuck up. I'm not a boomer. I'm okay. I'm
you
joined
sure?
today by resting bitch face. Fitch base. That wasn't. By resting bitch faced Alejandra. How are you?
Well, I somehow managed to survive. Not really, kinda. I'm still struggling, but I'm slowly but not surely getting out of this cold.
But dude, you do sound so much better than last I heard you.
Yeah, no, but like literally, like I think today is the first day I actually feel okay.
Mhm.
Like this entire week has been a nightmare.
Oh God, you still went working?
Yeah, I had to.
Oh shit. Okay.
Is she gonna make that money, you know?
Yeah.
No, but it's mostly because everyone else is sick, and after Christmas, like we get short-staffed again.
Yeah.
So it's just a regular, and usually our extra staff, like they go to school, so they can't jump in the middle of the week, so we're fucked.
Yeah.
So, like me and another coworker, the one that actually got me sick, we've been just trying to push through.
Yeah. Jesus. Well, that's sales for you. And we're joined as well by our tinfoil hat friend. He's actually wearing a tinfoil hat right now. Yeah, doffeth thine tinfoil hat, you motherfucker. Because you knew what this episode sort of was gonna be about.
Sort of, and I want to make sure that if I happen to be part amphibian, that I'm not gonna turn gay.
We're not touching aliens yet, buddy. That is not.
Okay, good.
I swear to God, if that ever happens, like nobody, I don't think you've ever heard me rant about aliens, but I can rant about aliens. I can give you some informations that is totally based on facts and not on gibberish whatsoever.
That's because you're straight out of Star Trek, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not actually a human. No one believes that.
I don't know why it is that everybody thinks I'm so weird, but yeah, I'm just at the point where I refuse. Like I'm just going along with it. So yes, I am an alien. I'm a Nordic alien because I'm pale and blondish hair. Yeah.
I've heard you speak about this before, though.
Oh yeah, yeah. You have. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's not talk about it again.
Yeah. Yeah, well, today, I'm starting on a little, I don't know if it's conspiracy theory though. It is and it isn't. I'll tell you why later. It's weird, but
Okay.
I wanted to give people, conspiracy theories, they're weird as far as I'm concerned. Because
But before we continue,
yeah.
just so we don't get into any legal problem, this is all alleged, people.
Oh
Don't
yeah.
trust Andy. This is all alleged. So trust Andy. He's cute, but not that cute.
No, Belgian government, if you're listening, he says this is fact. 100%.
No. What I'm going to explain to the people today is 100% based on facts. I'll even tell you why. I've been in contact with the central bank in Belgium, like a higher up there who makes money has given me a small interview about what it takes to make money. Basically, this episode should be called The Greatest Lie Ever Told, but then again, I don't think it's a lie at this point anymore. This is what I'm saying. It's weird, but I needed to start this conspiracy shit off somewhere because I am into it, and I wanted to guide people into it softly. It's sort of like you push your head of your peen up against the vagina until she's moist enough to enter, and you just fucking ram that shit up in there. That's the way to do it. So today is me just
Yes.
putting the head of my dick against all of your vulvas.
Ooh. Nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
I
This
love
sounds
how
good.
Ali got quiet
I'm
on
already
that
moist.
one. Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
sure.
to be
Whatever you say, Andy.
fair, to be fair here, Alex, you are wearing a tinfoil hat. I pretty much figured you were moist before we started.
I am. And also, my head is literally moist because it obviously cannot breathe through
Fucking
aluminium
take
foil.
it off, dude.
No,
It's
no,
not.
no. I want to keep this on. No
All right, well-
aliens or government are listening into my brainwaves.
All right, so I needed a subject. I was looking for a subject to guide people into conspiracy theories and to help them understand why conspiracy theories can be somewhat important. Not only have there been a lot of conspiracy theories that turned out to be true, like American governments, I forgot the word for that. Poisoning. Oh shit. Yeah. The American there was a conspiracy theory about the American government poisoning a part of their country, and it ended up being true. Like, see, conspiracy theories are the start of an idea that can sometimes end up being true. 80% of the times, it's just not. But you need a specific way of thinking when you're looking at conspiracy theories, because you can either look at it, you have these flat earth is one of those fucking things, you know.
Yeah,
You got
the
people
dum-dums.
looking at 3 YouTube videos and suddenly they stop believing in a round earth. That was ridiculous. You got to do the research and follow the proper fucking protocol to find the right research. So I'm one of those people that's definitely looking into what is right and what is bullshit, basically. But
Can I ask
as
a very important question when it comes to that topic, though?
yeah, go
Because you
ahead.
put so much time and effort into everything you do, which is
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant.
Okay.
But how the fuck do you manage? Like, what the fuck is
Ah.
wrong with you?
He's
do you
an
ever
alien.
fucking sleep?
Alien.
No. See, I like being active. Like sitting on a couch, wasting your time away. I don't think that's a good way to pass your time. You got to be active. You know what? This podcast, we told ourselves before we started this podcast that this podcast was about doing good and about making people feel good. Well, here's a small piece of advice. If you're feeling depressed, if you're having a hard time, do shit. Don't as long as you're working, as long as you're doing shit, you're not thinking about your problems. You're moving forward. You're moving past them. You're working your way through them. I've dealt with so much shit in my life by just keep on going attitude, like just continuously.
Yeah,
And-
and like not becoming a hermit and like hiding inside
Oh, yeah,
away
fuck
from
yeah. Yeah,
life. And then you
exactly.
get more and more withdrawn and then you don't hang out with your friends and
Well-
then your friend's like, well, fuck this guy. We never see him anyway. And then you end up in
Here's a
that
small
never-ending
secret,
cycle.
though. I think a good 10 years ago, I had like my first solid depression. Like my first time, I just I was done with everything and everyone. I could not give a single fuck about what ever happened in my life. It has to be said, I worked through shit with a lot of drugs in my life as well. But that was the first time I was sober from drugs, that I was working through shit. And at that point, I did become a hermit. I locked myself inside and I started drinking. And odd as it may sound, it did help. I needed that. Sometimes you just need to be a hermit, but that can't be all the time.
Exactly.
So if you're asking me how I'm doing this, girl, if I had any idea, I tell you, I'm just constantly busy. That's all. Like I'm constantly doing shit. But I like that. I like that way of living.
He also drinks 7 cans of Monster a day.
No, I stopped that. I'm on coffee now.
Okay, he drinks 12 cups of coffee instead.
Yeah, 8 cups in 8 hours. I'm fucked. Like I had moments
Just
where
buzzing.
I was just
Let's hope
threat-
Vicky's collecting that money for an
Yeah.
early funeral
Yeah.
because, god damn it, Jesus Christ.
Wait, he'd fit in the
3 kids.
Nordics. I think the Finnish average like 8 cups per day per person. So he could just move to Finland.
I'm
He'd
not
be his
talking
normal.
about the coffee consumption. I'm just talking about this. Just Andy in general.
Wow. Wow. For all the people at home, she just gestured to all of me. Like that was
I'm
Thank
sorry,
you, Ali. And
but
fuck
I'm
you
just
too,
being
milady.
really- No, but I say it because I care about you. You put, like, I don't know, you scare me sometimes.
Yeah, but
Like-
have I ever seen like generally like unhappy? Like I have my off days and shit like that, but like usually I'm pretty
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that you're depressed or anything. I'm just saying, like, you're just gonna drop dead one day because you
Oh, yeah.
overwork yourself.
Oh, yeah.
That
But
is
I
what I'm
can-
coming at. I'm not
I
talking about
can live with
depression
that.
or being sad or anything. I'm talking about, yeah,
Listen.
you're just gonna drop.
I'm gonna put it very simple for you. If I die, then that's your guys' problem. You'll be crying. I'll be fucking in the dirt. Like I don't give a shit.
I'll come and just pour some whiskey on your grave every now and
Yeah,
then.
just bury me with my ass up and use me one last time, Alex.
Yep.
You horse
You know what,
cocked
let's cremate
motherfucker.
you, and then I can like blend you in some powder, and yeah, and just have a bender with Andy.
Oh, dude.
Okay,
By the
well,
way,
can we-
thank you
on that
so
note-
much for the dick pic announcements. For the people who listened to a few episodes back, Alex told everyone to send me dick pics, and I got my very first share of a couple.
He actually did, yep.
Yeah. He sent me like 4 or something. Then we went on talking about how you're hiding the fact that you're gay. I think I even sent you that conversation.
Yeah, but the worst thing about this whole thing is that Andy didn't realize that Instagram account is shared. So when I'm standing at work and I open Instagram and all I see is dicks as I'm literally at work, and I'm like, fuck.
Yes, that's great teamwork. I tell him to start sending dick pics to Andy. I won't name him just yet because
Yeah.
he might be a guest on eventually. But and then Andy just starts receiving dick pics, and you get spammed at work. It was brilliant.
It was lovely. It
That's
was lovely. It
teamwork,
was
yeah.
very nice. I even, when I knew that you were logged into that conversation, Ali, I sent you a dick pic of a BBC, like a big black fucking cock. It was a nice
Yeah, I
one as
know.
well.
I was literally walking to the shops surrounded by
So
people in a
I
fucking mall.
Think what you're saying is thank you, Andy.
I hate dick pics.
Oh, come on now. If they're good,
No.
they're good. Shut
No,
up.
I've
Listen.
never looked at a dick pic and like, oh, that's a good dick.
Gobble,
God,
gobble,
that's
gobble.
your problem. I've never looked at a dick pic and not went, well, you know, why is that?
Well,
not
you look
hanging
at
right in
it and
front-
you just go,
Well, yeah, there you go. There you go. All right. Well, okay. Well, we got to get into this episode. Otherwise, we're not gonna get anywhere. This intro was way too long. But fucking fine. All right. So I had to start somewhere, right? I had to fucking give you something that you would understand as normal people with no background in conspiracy theory. That being said, if you don't have a background in conspiracy theory, you know, where have you been living? Some sort of fucking rock under the beach or something? What? Anyway, I just generally went looking out for something that everybody could understand, whether they have a history in fucking conspiracy theory or not. And what I came up with was something we use every day, and everybody believes it to be true, but it's not. How does that sound?
Toothpaste, money.
No. Money. There you
Refrigerators.
go. Good one. Right on the nose there. Yeah, money. Basically, all right. I wrote down the entire history of money because, like, that's how far I went. I don't know if I'm gonna read all of it. Basically, the invention of money, as we know it, took place before the beginning of written history. Consequently, any story of how money first developed is largely based on conjecture or and logical inference. Like, that's the only thing I'm gonna say about that. Is like it hasn't been documented how it all started. We just collected history pieces, put the puzzles together, and
So it's like as believable as some of the Bible stories.
no, actually,
Potentially
it's not,
loosely
because
based on some fact, but maybe it got a bit
no.
lost in
It's
translation
pretty
along
it's
the way.
pretty accurate. It's pretty accurate because unlike the Bible, there's evidence to back it up. So the first known currency was created by King Aliatis in Lydia, now part of Turkey, in 600 BC. The first coin ever minted features a roaring lion. Now, coins then evolved into banknotes around 1661 AD. The first credit card was introduced in 1946. Now, this King Aliades, he created the first coins in history made from electrum. It's a naturally occurring alloy of gold and silver.
Damn.
Now,
Mm.
the first coin ever made was actually just a small pebble of that material that they then weighed to the same amount of grains. So the weight of either precious metal
Mhm.
could not just be weighed. So they contain an imprint of that of the lion to identify the issuer who guaranteed the value of its contents.
Yep.
So the coins were produced using an anvil, die technique, and stamped with a lion's head. Basically, one stater, which was the name of the first coin, was equal to 168 grains of wheat. All right.
That's okay.
All right. So they weighed that. One coin was roughly that much. But so here's where conspiracy starts involving itself. You might think that that was a very brilliant move on that guy's behalf. But the fact of the matter is, if you look at money today, it has evolved to the point where it has no value.
Mhm.
Because it used to be that one stater could buy you 168 grains of wheat. Now, why do you think that stater, that coin, had value?
Because it was basic. I'm guessing here, was it only used for buying wheat?
Sort of. There were other things you could buy with that as well.
Okay, but I guess because it has an assigned function in the sense that it is worth only this much
but
of this
what
good.
what gave it its worth?
Is it actually existed?
Well, a boy got to eat.
Yeah, a boy gotta eat, indeed. But the fact that it was that was valuable is because it was made with something that wasn't commonly found in nature.
Okay.
Ah, yeah, makes
The
sense.
the
yeah.
alloy of gold and silver is something that
Mhm.
doesn't occur too much in nature. One could argue that now silver is commonly found, and that and gold is not like the hardest metal to find as well. But still, there's less gold in the world than there are grains of wheat, I guess. So the fact that it doesn't occur much in nature makes it valuable.
Yep.
So let that be a reference to everything else we're going to run through. Because what I'm saying right now is that money should have a certain value. What you hold in your hand should have value. Now ask yourself the question, if you hold a banknote of €5, or I don't know what the fuck you're dealing with over there, yen? Like
Krone.
Crowns.
Crones, yeah, that
Yep.
shit. If you have the smallest bill in your hand, how much do you think that, like, I'm gonna talk euros, okay? You have a bill of €5 in your hand. How much do you think that bill is worth?
Fuck all.
Yeah, well, no, and yes.
I mean, technically it's worth €5, but the actual
Exactly.
value
It is
of
worth
the thing
€5.
is fuck all.
It's €5, but it's still just paper or plastic. I don't know.
So here's where the Central Bank of Belgium comes in. I contacted these people to find out how much it took them to make a single leaflet of €5. Now,
Mm-hmm.
it's not an exact science because like nobody's asking for like there's only one bank that makes that, by the way, in Belgium. And it's
Yep.
not an exact science because like it's so hard to figure out for just one note how much it all costs because there's so much involved, like people's and overtime and like the substances they use and you know shit like that. Like it all costs money, so blah 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 blah. But because they make it in such great fucking volumes, making a a €5 note is basically equal to 10 cents. So when you're holding €5, and this is the conspiracy part, by the way, when you're holding a €5 note, you're not holding €5. You're
Mm-hmm.
only holding the value of 10 cents. Now, ask me how much it takes to make a €10 note.
5 cents.
It's roughly the same. It's 10 cents. So basically, when they exchanged the grains for the staters, they actually had value because it was worth something because it wasn't commonly occurrent in nature. The gold and the silver wasn't commonly. Now they're just printing this shit. So it's lost its value completely. The only reason why money still works, and this is the fucking craziest. There's some things that I can't say legally, and I'm not gonna say them. Like, there is a chance that people from the banking industry might listen to this. Like the people that I contacted were very interested in knowing when this would be aired and blah 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 blah. Yeah. So, but we're not gonna get in trouble. Like I can.
Don't worry about
Honestly
it. They
say
probably stopped listening after the intro to this episode.
Yeah.
They're like,
Fuck. Oh well, they made a midget joke. What? Just fuck them. Like they're not gonna get anywhere. No. So that's the thing. The because of the fact that it holds no value, the only reason why it still works is because we accept it.
yeah.
Yeah. But that's the fucking nuttiest fucking shit. That means that whatever you have is a fucking illusion. That's how far it goes. It's never been yours. It's never gonna be yours. You just gave something that doesn't have any value and you got something out of it. And it's so fucking weird to me. The longer you think about that, is that it works. The reason it works
Kinda
because
works.
we're all just in agreement that like, oh, okay, well, this is worth €5, but it's beginning to become even worse because what are we getting now from our employers?
Oh, you just get digital money now.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
the thing. That's what I was
But
going to
that
get to, too.
brings the 10-cent costs down to 0 cents.
Yep.
So basically, we're spending our lives getting up at 6 a.m., just getting ready in half an hour or 15 minutes or whatever you do to get ready. Then you fight through traffic with all the other assholes out there and you fucking do it for a person that doesn't appreciate you to get that house you want or to drive that car you want. And at the end of the day, they give you jack fucking shit for it. But it's okay because they tell you the ones and the zeros on your screen actually hold value. Now that's the nuttiest fucking thing. When you look back in history, when you had a goat, a single fucking goat, you were somewhat of a richer man than the guy with the chicken.
Mm-hmm.
But if the guy with a chicken went through the effort of growing 5 or 6 eggs out into other chickens, you know, that guy might be more rich than you. So that's the thing. You had something that was valuable that now it's an illusion. Money has become a literal illusion. And for those people who don't believe me, well, I dare you call your own bank, call whatever number you have to in your own country to find out who's making the bills and ask them how much it costs you to make a single bill. It's all the same everywhere, buddy.
Well, in Australia, they're talking about. It's funny because obviously coins cost more than banknotes, right? Basically, and they're
Yeah,
talking.
somewhat.
And
But
we have a
no. Basically, no. They should cost more, but they don't because of the volume they
exactly.
make them in.
Whereas in Australia, there's talk for years now that they want to get rid of the 5-cent coin, which is our lowest denomination, because it actually costs more in the nickel and raw material because it's actual metal. And in Australia, we use plastic money, so it's even cheaper. Again, you don't even have to bother with like paper and shit, and they've got it down, like a fucking science. So it's like,
and it's not vegan friendly.
Who cares? It's money.
That's a big.
But that's the thing. Like, how fucking horrible is that? Like, I wanted to do this, but I decided on not because my boss hates me enough as it is already. I
wonder why.
I wanted to because he hates free speech. When I'm at work, I'm in free speech jail all the time. I just can't say anything without everybody freaking out. But that's a different story. No. So I wanted to go to my boss so badly and ask him to pay me in gold and see what his reaction would be like. No, but what would be the difference for him? Seriously, what would be the difference for him?
I guess logistically
for paying me. Let's just
gold.
say that's not the right number, by the way. But let's just say I make 1,000 euros a month. It's more, by the way. Ka-ching! But let's just say I make 1,000 euros per month. And what would be the difference for him to give it to me in gold? It's 1,000 euros. But then again, if I go as an employer and get my 1,000 euros in gold, I actually have something that holds value.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's definitely the best currency, I guess, to have is like a physical, especially something like gold, which is eventually going to run out and is in demand for all electronics and all this shit.
But then also
it's
on
only
the
ever
other
going to
hand,
go up in price.
Then on the other hand, also, like, I know, for example, that the Swedish government, if you own gold, like physical gold, you have to pay taxes on it.
You have to pay taxes on your salary
when
they give you a digital currency. What I mean. So what's the difference?
Yeah. No, I know, but it's like it's a higher tax because it's valued as like
as currency, because it should be your $5 note or your €5 or your, I don't know what the equivalent is, like a 10 million kronen or something. I don't know. They should hold value because you're working literally for thin air. And I don't want to burst anybody's bubble, but it's odd to me and it's very scary to me to think that whatever I have can be taken away of me just by a simple idea stopping.
Yeah.
Just when everybody agrees that €5 is worth 10 cents, then I won't have my 1,000 euros. I'd have $20 or something, you know?
And then there's other things like, okay, if the Belgian economy, or I guess the European economy just completely crashed, that would happen because you'd have like hyperinflation. Look at like Zimbabwe, where it was like, we have inflation, let's just print more money. And it's like, yeah, now like $1
buddy,
like
no, that's the
Zimbabwean
beauty.
dollars.
That's the beauty of the lie we're being told. You would think that shit like that would have to follow standards and rules, but it doesn't, not whatsoever. If something like that were to happen in Europe, if that economy would crash or whatever, yes, the value of its money would go down a little bit, but the products would go down in price as well. And not only that, what you would find is that if in the long run it takes too long for whatever to be, to have to change to make it better again, that it doesn't change, basically what would happen is they would just make more money and that would solve the problem.
No, but that makes hyperinflation.
Like, have you ever considered that a country can be in debt?
Every country's in debt.
I'm pretty sure, I was going to make this
to
point.
who?
There's more debt in the world than there is actual physical money.
Yeah, but to who?
A significant amount. To bankers. To like the Rothschild family and shit like that.
There we go. Now that's the fucking name I wanted to hear. The fucking Rothschild.
This evil family on the
after
planet.
some research, I've found own more than 80% of the world's finances.
Mm-hmm. Well, isn't their family been banking for like 400 years or something? 300,
I think
400
he
years?
fucked
More?
just to get enough kids so he can put a kid in every central bank in the world. No, seriously. This guy has more kids than I have sperm in one shot. Like, it's fucking incredible.
Jesus.
Well, he's a smart man, though. Like, at the end of the day, like...
No, they're just evil. That whole family for like
He
hundreds of
is
years
not
have
a
been
smart
evil.
man. It's not about being smart. It's about what you're being born into. As in so many things, I held a discussion with a friend of mine who is unfortunately.
That's an edit.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I shouldn't say that. No.
Especially if he listens.
Mick, if you're listening to this, buddy, you know you're still my Will Smith. You'll never change. I love you.
Will Smith. Yeah, you've talked about him to me.
Yeah, he has a brother, like he's an adopted kid, and he has a brother who's white. And every time when I run into Mick, I just take a selfie with him and just send it to his brother. Then I ran into Will Smith, and that's been a joke for about 7 years, I think now, and I still think it's funny.
Should probably get some new material.
Nope, I'm good. Well, anyway, I was talking about race with him, and it seems to me that you just gotta be lucky where you're born. Rothschilds, they haven't been smart for a very long time. They were just very lucky in where they were born, just like, you know, black minorities or Mexicans or Chinese people or whatever. You know, I'm
talking about the origin of the family, like who founded everything. Like they did a good investment in that sense.
You know, I don't think it's something to do with investments, to be honest. I think
if you own 80% of the world, it is.
But they were like predatory, that's why.
But that's the only way you survive in this world.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying, it's fucked up.
Let's look back at Rothschild number 1. Let's look back at a very first guy that was Rothschild. Like, I don't know who that is. I should have looked that up.
I'm quickly
but
Googling
I don't think
it
it has anything to do with investment. I think it has everything to do with somebody just fucking sneaking in his way and then upwards, and then just keep going and going and going, and then...
But still, at the end of the day, that he made the right moves to get where he was, to get what he had, to have something to give to his family.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
So it originally started sort of more or less with Meyer Amschel Rothschild in Frankfurt, Germany in 1760s when he started his banking business.
All right.
And then he quickly
don't
rose to
tell me
prominence.
this is all
and
about
basically...
Nazi gold, right?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay. Yeah, continue.
No, but he basically dominated the banking business, and he just managed to... He branched out internationally, which is more the sort of the thing that at that sort of point in time wasn't really that so much of a thing. He really set his sights on just like expanding throughout the world. Yeah. And then he had 5 kids, and then his kids had another, you know, whatever. And then they sort of, kind of like Andy said, started sending family members off to different parts of the world to start dominating and heading up the business, and here we are today.
But it's amazing. It's amazing. If you want to look at conspiracy theories and shit like that, start with that, Rothschilds. You'll find yourself in a whirl of fucking... You'll get pissed about how you were fucking bent over and fucked up the ass every day worse than you thought. Like, literally, if they would release all their money to the world and just keep enough for themselves to hold over 10 generation of them and their kids, I'm pretty sure we'd all still be fucking millionaires.
But why would they want to do that?
Yeah, well...
But why would any millionaire, any billionaire want to do anything for anyone else at the end of the day?
They did do that. They would break the illusion. Like, you know the phrase, the sheeple, right? Sheep, people, sheeple. You
Yes.
know that
Yes.
phrase. It's just, but it is such a fucking thing. We are
But we
sheeple
all
because
we all live in that fantasy. We all buy shit. We all purchase, and we
Yeah.
work hard because we want to maybe achieve something and get something. But that's just a mentality that we've brought up in that we live in, and
Yeah.
it's not gonna change at the end of the
No,
day.
no, no, no.
Like
It's not gonna
everything,
change.
everything
That
just
is-
needs to collapse in that sense.
Yeah.
Like everything
Exactly.
for people to
Alright.
then rebuild.
I agree with you, but there's a difference, say, us three here who are just average Joe people starting from, at best, middle class family, right?
Mhm.
When you were born into a family worth hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars, you have no need for money.
Yeah.
They have no need. They could literally live like 100 generations
Yes.
just on their family's wealth and not make
Mhm.
like a single dollar more.
Yes.
So at this point, it's like they don't need to do this anymore, but they still do because they just
Yeah.
like fucking the power that
I think
they
it
get
has
and they're like
something to do with
manipulating everything.
maintaining the illusion from the other people so that it never goes fuck up for them. It's all about ego.
Oh, definitely. But I'd never got that extreme wealth where they just keep trying to accumulate money. It's like, man, you have enough. Like, it doesn't matter. Like Jeff Bezos with Amazon. It's
yeah.
like, you're screwing over your workers. You're worth like $100 billion. Just pay them an extra fucking $2 an hour.
They don't care. Why would they care? But that's what I mean. It's like that's just a mentality. Like when you have something, you want more. And you won't like
Yeah.
give it up just because
Yeah.
oh fucking Barry over there doesn't have enough fucking money to go and buy formula for his newborn baby. Why should I give a shit? I worked for my money.
Yeah.
But that's just the mentality that they have. I'm not saying that I have that mentality in particular, but
She does. She abuses
no,
me.
I don't. I'm a very caring person. I would like take off the fucking clothes of my back to give it to someone else. That's just
I
the
need
person that I
clothes
am.
right now.
Yep.
Take it off.
but
Start
that's
filming,
just
Alex.
that's the mentality that,
Yeah.
especially when you're brought up as a kid and everything is normalized to you in that sense. Like it's normal
Yeah.
for you to have people that do
I
everything for
wonder
you.
if they were friends with Epstein.
Ah, no, but he didn't kill himself.
he definitely
but,
not.
Oh, yeah, of
um,
course, everyone knows that he didn't kill himself.
but I'm so glad you
Is he
react
really dead, though?
this. What?
Is Epstein really dead though?
Oh, I think so. That fucker
Yeah.
needed to die. He was
Hillary
gonna talk.
Clinton ate his corpse.
Oh yeah. But I'm so glad you responded that way because basically what you did is you shown why I feel conspiracy theories and conspiracy shit is very important to mankind is because if we stop thinking, we become sheeple. If we stop educating ourselves about what's really going on, you become. It's fine to live in that world where money, where your €5 note is only worth 10 cents. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Like it won't devalue anything you have, but it does open up the world of possibilities to some other theories that might be out there that we're going to discuss in other episodes. All I'm
Yeah.
saying with this show and with this episode is that it's very important to realize that not everything that you've been told is fucking reality. It's sometimes a beautiful lie you'd prefer to live in because it's easier to live in that world than into the real world where one guy has trillions upon trillions upon trillions of dollars and you get fucking $2,000 for working harder than he'd ever had in his entire life.
But now I do retract my statement from earlier in this episode. This is factual. This is reality. It's not a
It is.
conspiracy theory at the end of the day. It's
No.
reality.
Yeah.
We just live in this world and we won't stop living in it ever. I don't think so.
I think, and that does breach into aliens. I think one of the main reasons why we never quote unquote, been in contact with aliens or whatever, and this is my theory. This is his conspiracy theory completely. Is the fact that if we were to have contact with aliens, we'd realize how dumb we are as a people. Because I can assure you, there's no other species out there that's dumb enough to follow the couple of people that we choose to follow.
Yeah. But this also brings into politics because, like, in
Oh,
reality,
of course.
we all want to live in a communistic society in the sense like we all share, we all have the same,
Oh,
everything
yeah.
equal value. But
Yeah.
that's why communism doesn't work, because it's
Mhm.
not fucking realistic.
Well, no, communism doesn't work because of people. Because if there's
Yes.
25 good people, there's one asshole. And that asshole fucks it up for 25
Yep.
people. And that one asshole is usually a politician. That's
Yep.
the reason why communism doesn't work. Because, like, even politics doesn't work. Look, so here in Belgium, I don't mean to racially offend. Like, I know, like, I've said some funny stuff in the past. I genuinely, I am not a racist. I don't judge by color. I
It's
judge.
just Belgium.
No, I judge by how you act.
Yeah, if you're an asshole, you're an asshole.
Yeah, exactly. And then, like, the color of your skin won't fucking, make a difference to me. But that being said, our crime rates in Belgium are pretty much somewhat one-sided, one could say. The gray area in Belgium of criminality, and that is the unsolved area, is 75%. Usually, that has something to do with the fact that they don't have a passport and shit like that. And I'm talking 7 to 8 cases out of 10 is like that. So we do have a little bit of a problem in Belgium as far as that comes. Now, as a normal citizen, you don't really feel that because you're not confronted with the poverty that those people are confronted with. So I do understand why they do certain shit that I wouldn't do or that I choose not to do. Now, that being said, I took a long and hard look at politics, right? And the reason these people are so fucked from the get-go is because of politics. They don't have the right politics in their own country to help them solve the problem they have there. Because I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, I told my coworker, Anouar, who's a great guy. I love working with him. He's nice. He's just a stand-up, like, solid dude. He's one of those guys, when you look at him, you know you can trust him. Like, he's one of them.
Yep.
And I was talking to him, and he's a refugee, right? And he has work in Belgium, he has a passport, he has everything sorted out. And I told him, I think a couple of weeks ago, I told him that I don't think he wants to be in Belgium. And he's like, why would you think that? Like, I'm happy here, I'm making money. I'm saying, if you have your country of origin and you would make the same money and be employed and pay taxes the way we do, if you have every single convenient thing that we have in Belgium, would you then still come to Belgium? And he was like, well, no, because my family is there. I said, well, that's exactly my point. If you had the right politics in your own country, I don't know what the fuck America is doing, like fighting in all these countries. Like, don't
Money.
fight the country. Like, don't fight the country. Fight the fucking politicians. That's the problem in every fucking country.
They're ganged up with the politician to get their money. Like, that's it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Belgium has literally, in the last vote, voted extremely right. Like, the extremely right.
Majority of Europe.
Oh, yeah. They vote like they had a fucking wake-up call. And they said it themselves. The other parties said it themselves. Like, whoa, okay, we didn't expect that. But we as a people now recognize there is a problem. Not with the people, but with the fact that they're coming in and nobody's fucking helping them. Nobody's helping them out over there. All we're doing is making a problem move from one place to another. That's not solving a problem. That's just relocating an existing problem. And so people voted extremely right? And nobody wanted to work with this party. All the other parties were against, well, we're not going to work with them. And then
This
I
just
was
sounds like Sweden.
But yeah, but that's the thing. That's the fucking thing that I hate so fucking much. Then why fucking have votes? Your country is trying to wake you up and telling you, like, hey, we don't like the situation for these people. These people don't like their situation being here. They don't want to be here and we don't want them here. They would rather be in their own fucking home, in their own fucking country, with their own fucking family. They like it there. Just help them solve the problem fucking there.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Andy, like, are you gonna pay for like, let's say your friend to be able for him to go back and live his life in his country for it to work out over
You know
there.
what? If I knew enough about politics and knew how to make that work, if I knew how to I'm gonna say it like this: if I knew how to make that work without killing somebody, because basically that's what I think should happen.
All the
I mean,
politicians, they got to go.
Just
All of
fucking
them.
shoot the guys you have in politics in that country right now.
Just start again.
Put a couple of Belgians in there and let them show like, oh, we work like this in our country. This is how it works in our country, and like it's been working out pretty well for us.
Because like we're still unhappy with the current situation in our country. Well, what says that like if we move, like I agree with you. I'm just discussing with you just because. For the facts of it, but at the end of the day, it's where the fuck was I gonna go with this? I dropped my fucking thread completely.
I think I know where you're going. Right, I would put it this way: at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how. If you ever get to a point where you are completely satisfied with your country, then your country is going to shit.
Yeah.
It can always be better. Like I think things here in Sweden, right, compared to Libya or something, they're great.
Yeah,
But they could still be 1,000 times fucking better.
Yeah.
And I will always want it to be better and better and better. That's just natural. You always want better standard. And the second you stop having that, well, then your country's doomed. Because that's when you're going to get a dictator. Because, everything's great, guys. The next Hitler just walks in. They're like, we're brilliant. We're good at everything. We're going to dominate the whole world.
Nothing
and then a
works
genocide happens.
when it comes to politics. Politics, at the end of the day, is always someone gets fucked. As long as it's not me, I don't give a shit. It's the same thing with money. As long as I have money, I don't care if you don't, because I do. Same thing with politics. As long as like I can make the rules that I like and everything profits the people that I care about, why would I care about this immigrant family coming in or this people that actually live in my country or are my countrymen and they are further down but they get dragged into the shit? Why would I care? Because I know that I'm protecting the people that I care about.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. It's a very close to the heart sort of thing, but that's what I'm saying. It's like politics, and I've seen this firsthand. Politics, it don't work. It don't fucking work. It does not fucking work. I don't know when in history it did work. There must have been some points that have been. We've spent so much time without a government now, and you know what? All the trains, they run on time, and all the roads, they get fixed. I don't know why the fuck we need these guys anymore. But it's just basically getting a part out of your paycheck. That's all it fucking has become. You know what Italy did when it saw that, we're having some major money issues? You know what they did? They fucking fired 100, I think 1,000 or 100 politicians, clearing millions for the people. Now, you know, that's politics that works in my eyes.
But that's
just
the thing
fucking get some of them lazy assholes fucking back in the factories and let them work for a normal fucking wage just like me and you.
Yeah.
Let those guys do it again.
Which
and
is what you
fucking let them
should do.
stop.
It's just look at anywhere in the world at the moment, and like the closest example for me at the moment is what's going on in Chile.
Yeah.
So basically, the press, like the government that is in power right now, and has been in power ever since the dictatorship back in '73, like it's literally been take as much money as possible from your people and give them fuck all and live on minimum wage, minimum everything. People are working literally in like they go in like they retire when they're, what is the retiring age, like 65, 70?
65 here, yeah.
Yeah, let's say around 70, like around. They have to work up until their fucking 90s. You see ladies walking around working because there is no, they don't get any pension, like they don't get any money. And they're having a revolt in Chile at the moment. If people haven't heard, it's been going on for the last 3 months.
Yeah.
And it's continuing. But
and you've been joining those I'm gonna interject real quick here. You've been joining those protests back in Sweden, haven't you?
Yeah. Because
and
why?
good
Because
on you
people
for
are
that.
getting
Like I've seen the pictures. Congratulations. Like you're doing a good job.
Because it pisses me off, and it like it's okay. The politics aside, it's like politics are always gonna get fucked. But like when you are not listening to your own fucking people, when you have literally more than 80% of your country on the streets demonstrating that they want change, and you're such a idiot that you declare literally war towards your own people and killing them. Like, that's why I'm so engaged in it, because I'm super scared. Because why? They've been killing a lot of people. I have family back there, especially the one that I'm mostly worried about is my cousin. Because why? He's a male. He's around that age where cops like to kill. Like, that's just a simple fact. And oh fuck. Can we just because I can
all right. Let's just talk about something else. Listen, but I do love the passion. That's why I brought this subject to the table today, because I know it's a very passionate subject for a lot of people. It's not just about money. It's about the politics involved. It's about the people that are actually in power that we don't know are in power, because the world is not run by politicians. It's not run by you and me. It's run by quite a handful of people.
Yes.
That just fucking decide whatever they want us to do, they'll do. And you'll see this in further episodes when we get deeper into conspiracy theories. I do want to run over the banking. Now, there's two things I still want to do. I quickly want to run over the banking history, because I did do the research and I don't want to get it to go to fucking waste. And I'm going to give you the people, because I want it to be upbeat at the end of this episode, I'm going to give the people a couple of reasons, a couple of ways they can make some extra money from their home. And,
prostitution.
you know, if...
I'm calling it.
God, don't ruin it for me. I was going to say that one first. Hey, sucking off homeless people on the street has paid out pretty well for me.
Oldest profession in the world, you know?
Ah, yes. All the AIDS is mine. No. No, I'm just gonna quickly run over a few things that you can do at home to make an extra quick buck, and there's no like scheming involved. These are genuine tips you can use at home to that I've somewhat implemented in my life, and you know, and now I got a little extra cash laying around, and you know, yeah,
it's absolutely
so
sucking off hobos.
Yes. And just slobbering on clits of ancient females, not knowing if they're alive or not. Just 90 years old, laying in their deathbed. Just give me that inheritance. I'm sorry, I should.
I'm just gonna leave that in there.
Yeah, thank you. Now, anyway, the history of banking began when empires needed a way to pay for foreign goods and services with something that could be exchanged more easily. Coins of varying sizes and metals served in the place of fragile implement paper bills. These coins, however, needed to be kept in a safe place. Ancient homes did not have the benefit of a steel safe. Therefore, most wealthy people held accounts at their temples, no less. Numerous people like priests and their temple workers, whom one hoped were both devout and honest, always occupied the temple. So there was always people around day and night, adding a sense of security to the people. Now, historical records from Greece, Rome, Egypt, and ancient Babylon had suggested that temples loaned money out as well. Now, they did this in addition to keeping it safe. The fact that most temples were also the financial center of their cities is the major reason that they were ransacked during war. So if you're asking yourself, hey, why were temples such an easy fucking thing? All there is religion and maybe a golden chalice here and there. No. Back in history, it was because temples, churches were used as a safe of some sort for
glorified
the
banks,
cities.
really.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
Now, coins could be hoarded more easily than other commodities, such as 300-pound pigs. So there emerged a class of wealthy merchants that took to lending these coins with interest to people in need, aka the first assholes in a long line of very severe assholes. Temples generally handled large loans as well as loans to various sovereigns, and these new moneylenders took up the rest. So the first actual bank, this is one I discovered as well, it's basically like what you would think. It's the Romans. Now, these were great builders and administrators in their own right, took banking out of the temples and formalized it within distinct buildings. During this time, moneylenders still profited, as loan sharks do today. But most legitimate commerce and almost all governmental spending involved the use of an institutional bank. So we have Julius Caesar to thank for banks.
What a wanker.
Amongst other things, Julius Caesar, in one of the edicts changing Roman law after this takeover, gives the first example of allowing bankers to confiscate land in lieu of loan payments. So the first guys that came knocking to your door and said, like, well, take everything they didn't,
Yeah, well, sorry, your husband's dead. Ha ha ha, now we're going to take your house. Not only did you lose your husband, now you have no home, no goods, no clothes.
Then that's a little thank you as well to Julius Caesar. This was a monumental shift of power in the relationship of creditors and debtor, as landed noblemen were untouchable through most of history. They were passing debts off to descendants until either the creditors or debtors' lineage died out. Basically, that's how it happened. Now, the Roman Empire eventually crumbled, but some of its banking institutions lived on in the form of papal bankers or Vatican bankers that emerged in the Holy Roman Empire. And with the Knights Templar during the Crusades, small-time moneylenders that completed with the church were often denounced for usury. So, yeah, that's basically a little bit of history of how that all went down.
Yeah, but also to just sum all of this up, money isn't everything. You don't have to break your back if you don't want to. You can be happy without stuff. But it's still important to pay your rent, so fucking work, okay?
Yeah.
Feed your
but
children.
that's the thing I wanted to say. Money doesn't bring you happiness. I don't believe in that quota per se. I do believe, because I'd rather be crying in a BMW than on a city bus. So that's just me, right?
Yeah.
It's not gonna help you get on in life as a person, but it gives you a little extra time, like a little space to breathe, is what I'm saying.
It buys you opportunities, really. That's what.
Yeah, I guess so. I think money isn't the most important thing, but it definitely is fucking important because we're living in a society that runs on it. So,
the illusion that we run on the money, in other words.
Yeah, exactly.
In conclusion
exactly.
of this episode.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess there's only one more thing we need to cover, and that is the bestest boy segment of this week. Hold on, I got it right now. All right, and our bestest boy of the week can be found on Instagram. You can find him at Mochi_and_Kiwi. That's MOCHI_AND_KIWI. Mochi and Kiwi are two golden retrievers, and they're so fucking cute, dude. Like, just go check them out. Give them all the loves and all the hugs and all the kisses. And I actually reached out to the owners of Mochi and Kiwi, and I said, hey there, just wanted to let you guys know I'm about to record a podcast, and I found your Insta page about your cute little doggos, Mochi and Kiwi. They're super cute. Every week we do a Bested Boy segment where we talk about the cute pets, and we will be giving them a solid mention for you. Keep taking care of those dogs and give them all the hugs. Kind regards, and Alex, Andy, and Alejandra from the At Random podcast. That was it for this week's episode. I hope you guys learned a little something about how this is all an illusion and we're all in a computer program and the Matrix is real and everybody's gonna die
and
eventually.
Elon Musk is actually God.
All right, well, I guess that's it. Like, it's been a long episode. I'm sorry.
It really has. Just think about the time they're listening to this, they could have been making money.
Oh yeah.
Go back to work, Jerry. Shut the fuck up.
Do your job.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about prostitution. You don't have to take the dick out your mouth to listen to this podcast. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening. Have a great week. If you do have great and fucking awesome, fun shit you did as a do-good deed, share them with us on Instagram. Like I said, at.random.podcast, or on Twitter, Cherry.
AT_random_pod. Like random pod just put together. You'll find us.
All right, and there you go. Is there anything else you want to say, Ali, before we leave the people to their wonderful lives?
I need to pee.
Okay.
And on that note,
Ali
just
pee.
keep
All right.
jacking it.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.